While the entire world's focus is on the war in Gaza, in which thousands of innocent people have been killed, something is happening in the Red Sea near the Horn of Africa that will destabilize the entire Middle East and even the entire world. The Yemeni Houthis have blocked the most strategic point in the world. At the moment, 12 container ships have been targeted by missiles and drones in the past 2 months, affecting global trade. In response to this aggression, the American and British navies bombarded Yemen on January 11th and 12th, in response to which, on January 16th, the Houthis once again attacked another ship passing through the Red Sea with a drone, after which the situation became more tense. In fact, when Israel attacked Gaza, the Yemeni Houthis, backed by Iran, announced their full support for Hamas. But because Yemen is about 2,000 kilometers away from Gaza, the Houthis could not directly be a part of this war. So in November 2023, they announced that they would attack every ship passing by Yemen in the Red Sea, which is either going to Israel or coming from Israel, or has an Israeli flag on it, or any Israeli on it, and these attacks will continue until Israel stops the attacks on Gaza. Global trade has been severely disrupted due to these attacks, and this is because this entire area of the Red Sea is very important to our world. Smooth trade is vital to the running of the global economy, and 80% of our world's trade takes place through seas. And one of these seas is the Red Sea, which is the most dangerous geopolitical area, because there are 2 choke points here. One is the Suez Canal near Egypt, and the other is the Bab al-Mandab Strait near Yemen. This narrow 28-kilometer space where ships coming from the Middle East and Asia cross the Indian Ocean and enter the Red Sea. And then they cross the Suez Canal into the Mediterranean Sea, and from there they reach Europe and America. So it is the shortest route to connect Asia and Middle East to Europe. 10% of the world's oil and 6% of natural gas supplies pass through this 28 kilometers choke point. And all this gas and oil comes from the Persian Gulf country by crossing the Strait of Hormuz. According to statistics of 2022, 20% of Europe's oil imports and 24% of gas imports pass through this Bab al-Mandab Strait. And not only oil and gas, but the entire trade of Asia and Europe is also connected through this route. 30% of China's manufacturing exports go to Europe and North America through this Bab al-Mandab Strait. So if this route is blocked for any reason, the global economy can collapse because the only alternative is to cross the entire African continent. Container ships used this route before the construction of the Suez Canal, but this route is 7,400 kilometers longer than the Suez Canal route, resulting in extra fuel consumption, and that's why these shipping companies are losing millions of dollars after the attack by the Yemeni Houthis. So far, the Houthis have targeted at least 13 commercial ships here with missiles and drones, due to which 5 major container shipping companies of the world have stopped their operations through Red Sea. They include Denmark's Maersk Line, France's CMA-CGM, Germany's Hapag-Lloyd, and Switzerland's MSC. These 5 companies have 50% of the world's shipping capacity, and recently British Petroleum has also announced to close its operations through Red Sea. And if a few more companies also join this boycott, Europe's oil and gas supply will be in great danger. Similarly, another blow to the shipping industry is that the insurance cost has increased 10 times, and given the oil tankers are very expensive, so the effect of this price increase will be in thousands of dollars. Now the US is trying hard to protect this route and Israeli ships, and has appealed to the international community to cooperate with it in operations against the Yemeni Houthis. But apart from Britain, no other country has come forward in the operation against the Yemeni Houthis. France, Italy, and Spain have declined straightforward. Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE are also absent from this operation. China and Russia, who have military bases in Djibouti, are still watching everything silently. In fact, political differences are on the one hand, but this neutrality has another great advantage, and that is the high cost of stopping Houthis drones. Western Navy's weapons are so expensive that it's literally not worth it to shoot down these tiny drones. Let me explain to you with an example. Recently, France has used Aster-15 surface-to-air missile to shoot down the Shahed 136 drone of Yemen. Now the cost of this French missile is $1 million, while the cost of the Yemeni drone is only $20,000. It means that destroying a $20,000 drone by shooting a $1 million missile is not justified in any way. But on the other hand, if these ships are destroyed, then that is also a $1 million loss. So it is a win-win situation for the Houthis. Similarly, the Houthis have two other very powerful weapons. One is ballistic missiles with a range of 1,400 kilometers that can target anything on Earth within that range. And secondly, anti-ship cruise missiles with a range of 40 to 800 kilometers, which can target any ship very accurately. And with these ballistic missiles being very cheap compared to Western arms, it has become a very complicated conflict, and many countries do not want to be a part of it yet. This blockade will have a very negative effect on Egypt, because it earns $10 billion annually from ships passing through the Suez Canal. Egypt's economy will take a hit when containers go through the African route. Saudi Arabia is still silent on this issue, although since 2015, Saudi Arabia has been fighting against Yemeni Houthis. But recently, Saudi Arabia has changed its approach against Yemen. Saudi Arabia has recently signed peace treaties with the Yemeni leadership. According to some analysts, Saudi Arabia is also very angry with the USA. Because when Yemeni drones used to attack the oil pipelines of Saudi Arabia, there was no special proactive response of the United States. That is why now Saudi Arabia is just watching the whole situation as a spectator. But on the other hand, UAE is putting a lot of pressure on America to launch a full-scale attack on Houthis, because UAE supports the anti-Houthis group in Yemen. And for the past few years, UAE has been taking a lot of interest in Yemen due to the huge oil reserves discovered in Yemen. According to some reports, Yemen, after Venezuela, has the second largest untapped oil reserves in the world. And many Arab countries do not want the control of these reserves to be in the hands of the Houthis. According to Yemeni economist Hassan Ali, Saudi Arabia has a secret agreement with the USA due to which Yemen has been prevented from utilizing these oil reserves for the last 30 years. According to research by international drilling companies, Yemen has more oil reserves than the entire Persian Gulf. Similarly, in January 2013, Sky News reported that Yemen has 34% of the world's oil reserves, and all of them are in Al-Jawf province. If these reserves are utilized, Saudi Arabia's oil exports can take a huge dent, and that's why Yemenists feel that Saudi Arabia is the biggest culprit in Yemen's current situation, because it promoted the civil war in Yemen for its own benefit. But the Yemenis have now become very aware. The whole world has ignored them for many years, but now they're taking matters into their own hands. In just a few days, the world powers have become panic, and now the Houthis have even threatened that if Israel does not stop the Gaza war, they will blow up all the internet cables passing through the Red Sea, after which the internet connectivity of Asia and Middle East will end. That is why I said at the beginning of the video that Yemen is at such an important point in the world that the activities taking place here can destabilize the entire Middle East and even the entire world. 2024 is going to bring a lot of changes. The tension that has been created between Iran and Pakistan is also a link in this larger geopolitical game. The next few months, if not weeks, are going to be very decisive. You guys are going to see huge changes in the geopolitical world.